Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning, August the 17th, live. I think I'm live from sunny Melbourne, Florida. It is morning coffee with Mitch. Got a special guest with me today here in the studio. It's unusual, but I hope you will all make him feel welcome with me, and let me introduce him right now. My friend, Walter. Good morning, Walter. How are you? Is that a cup of coffee I see next to you? Well, sorry, fella. This coffee is much too big for you, but I'm going to drink it because I got it. I know, that's silly. Walter, it's kind of like my alter ego. Whenever I look at Walter, I imagine he's thinking, "Get off my lawn." Why do I identify with him? Maybe it's the hairline. Maybe that's why I identify with Walter. But my son bought me this. He used to talk. Maybe if I put new batteries in him, he'll talk again. But he's my mascot. He's always sitting right there. Right there, next to my coffee cup. Let's see if I can find a view. There he is. Sits right there in my studio. Always. Good to see you, Walter. All right, we got music on. Let's not get too far afield here. Fade the music out while people start to enter. Oh, wow. Yeah, I made that video yesterday about being a social outcast, and God, if I don't feel like one. And the comments I got on that, wow. And I almost have to think twice, although I don't care. I have to think twice about doing my cigar smoking shtick in a video. You'd think that I was producing murder porn. The outrage, condemnation, advice that I get from some people. I understand it. None of that kind of thing comes from the desire to help me, but only to judge me, criticize me, because you just are so much smarter. Any comment like that gets an automatic ban from the channel. You can watch them, but you can't comment anymore. Why do you watch these things? Are you like the guy on the highway that goes out of his way to feel aggravated if somebody happens to look at him sideways and turns it into road rage? Are you in that much need of being angry at something and hurting anything and anybody in your way that might keep you from expressing it? I don't get it. Well, I do get it. And that's why I stay away from most people. And that's why one of the things I was thinking about when I made that video yesterday about being a social outcast, nobody out there, and I'm sure a lot of you identify with it, have anything whatsoever we're interested in. Not their entertainment, not their food, not their politics, not anything. We're not interested. We're free thinkers. We think for ourselves. We make our own decisions. We do what we do even if everybody else is against it and think we're fools. And that makes us a very, very small bunch of what I consider the best people on the planet. So to the 71 of you that are here already this morning, welcome. And I reiterate, drink it if you got it, and ignore the people that want to kill you because you do. I talked yesterday for a brief time about not debating with these morons because it's a no-win situation. So I never, ever answer them. I never come back with a logical, realistic answer why their head is up their butt and they don't know anything either about what they're talking about or about me. But I at least deserve the right to inject a little common sense rant now and then, or every more often than now and then, so that I can maintain my sense of humor and be the master of my fate and not feel obligated to have to defend myself every time somebody finds fault with me. That, my friends, is a privilege of age. When you're 12, listen to your mommy and daddy. When you're pushing 80, very few people know what you know and are in a position to give you any meaningful or even true advice. And that's why old people get cranky. You get tired of it after so many years of know-it-alls. Express your opinion. Use phrases like "with all due respect." Don't give orders and demands that someone else live up to your lofty standards, whether it be religion, politics, cigar puffing, coffee drinking. Absurd. Yeah, meathead, Kurt. Common sense to the masses is an oxymoron. And my favorite part about that word is that it contains the word moron, which is one of the few ways to describe things like that. Well, this is Open Panel Sunday, and here we are. We're going to dispense this morning with all of the saying hello to everybody that was in the pre-chat. I'm going to go look real quick to see who won this morning. And wow. Graceful Lily. First in at 8:30. Congratulations. I've already burned about 8 minutes of this. And everybody's here, and more are coming in. I see that Rick's been hot and heavy in the chat. Good morning, Rick. How are you, my friend? And I watched Rick's live stream yesterday morning early. I got out there about, I think I chimed in about 20 after 8. Watched it till about 9. Went in the house to work out. Yesterday was my workout day, and in my studio / workout room, I have a TV that has Roku. So, believe it or not, Rick, I worked out to you talking about plumbing and electrical and all the work that you had to do today. and I didn't feel that bad because I go off topic and far afield sometimes, and it was nice to know that I wasn't the only one, and I got a chuckle. I got a chuckle, Rick, because we all want to have our channels grow, and we all want our fans to interact with us. The consequence of that is so much chat that it becomes all-consuming just to include yourself in the conversations. I ran into that wall long ago, Rick. You're just beginning to discover the joys. And a nice guy, and you are a nice guy, and I think I'm a nice guy. You don't want to ignore people because we all know what it's like to be chatting away, asking questions, and be completely ignored by the host. Never understanding that in a chat, like some of the large channels of thousands of people, there is just no way they can keep up with all of that. It's impossible. They could have a staff of 10 people. They still miss stuff. And never get insulted if you feel like you're talking to a wall, because in most cases, you're talking to a very few other people that are following the thread of the conversation that you're involved in. DS111 says, I don't think it's really necessary for the host to read aloud every comment. Oh, I would hope not. I would hope not, because you can't. You'd never have a show. You'd never have a topic, nothing to talk about. But today is not my day to talk at you. It's my day to talk with you. This is not the private community. Here is a link. It's in the chat. I'm going to pin it to the top, and we'll wait for a few seconds for Tuka to dive in, because I know what that's going to happen. Don't you hate it when you're predictable? Make a liar out of me, Tuka. Unless Tuka came in earlier and said, I've got something else to do today. Okay. Or not? Don't I look like a fool? So no Tuka yet, but there's the link. If something's wrong with it, it doesn't work, let me know. Tanya's got a birthday, evidently. Anna says, happy birthday, Tanya. Rick says, I do skip over to hellos and conversations with each other. Yeah, you almost have to, Rick. You can't keep up with it. I saw you trying yesterday. That was interesting. So, not a soul has come into the green room yet. Be careful, guys. You might be stuck with an hour of me. And I didn't prepare anything. Wow. Come on, Rick, you come into the chat. I'll talk to you. Maybe the link doesn't work. I don't see anybody that's telling me the link doesn't work. Rick says, I'm hoping new people come in today. Rick, at this point, I'm hoping any people come in today. You know what they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can put this stuff out there for you guys. I can't make you take advantage of it. I'd like to see some new people. Like to meet some new people. That's the purpose of this. Rick says, you know I'll be there if they don't. Let me get past all this chit-chat that's been happening on the chat that I'm looking at so I can put some of this stuff up. Any questions? Yeah, as meatheads with the oxymoron. And we have, yes, signs of life out there in the universe. Let me change my scene to get rid of the online chat. And what else I got to do? Housekeeping. Any housekeeping? I'm going to take that banner down off the bottom. It does say buy me a coffee. Don't let anything I say stop you, my friends. Banners and shut that off. There we go. I think I'm ready. And look who's here. Gary.
Hey everybody. Good morning.
How you doing? How you doing, young man?
All relative, right?
It is. It is.
I'm doing great. Thanks to you,
Good.
Mitch.
Oh. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Getting me onto this carnivore diet lifestyle. Yeah, today was a good day. I hit another scale victory. A new carnivore low for me.
Okay.
So,
okay. Let me turn your mic down just a tad.
I bought this cheap $10 wired microphone for this.
Oh, it sounds great. Sounds great, but it's a little loud. Now, I may be wrong because I'm only hearing it in my headphones, but will you let me know in the chat if my new setting for Gary's volume is too low or just right or no different?
Yeah, so on Saturdays, when Rick has his live stream, I listen in, and there's a community pool in our subdivision. It's about it used to be a 30-minute walk from my house. Now it's only like a 20-minute walk. So I guess they moved it closer. I'm not sure. So on.
Yeah, they moved the pool. It couldn't be you, could it? No.
So it opens at 11 a.m. and so I try to make up for a week of not much exercise and do it all on Saturday. So I walk to the pool. I go to the pool and I swim laps. Now I'm not a Olympic swimmer or anything, so they're a leisurely breaststroke up and a backstroke back, and I do that for 2 hours straight in the pool.
Wow.
And then I get out and then I walk home, but when I walk home I take a long way, so then by the time I get home it's about 3.5 to 4 hours of exercise for me.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. But there are benefits far beyond weight loss to all of that.
Right. And I like doing it in the pool because the pool's, it's relaxing. It feels great. It's not much effort. I'm not getting winded. My joints aren't sore. The weightlessness of being in the pool was great. And yeah, and so I basically fasted for 24 hours before that, and so I was hoping to get a new low weight register on the scale. So mission accomplished. Today, I don't know, maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll walk to the pool. Maybe not do 4 hours, but maybe 2 hours of exercise. And it's hard to do during the week because I do work from home, and to take a 3-hour lunch, it's not cool. I mean, I could, but so usually during the week I'll be mowing the lawn or something else.
Well, you're doing more moving around than I am, that's for sure. I'm so proud of myself. I don't touch my walker from the time I come out of my bedroom in the morning until I use it to go back into the bedroom at night, because I like to have it sitting there near the bed. Because
right.
The balance is still an issue, but all day long, well, I just walking all over the place. It still ain't the prettiest thing, but I'm balancing myself, and
right. I'm still dealing with a little bit of today. It's actually not too bad. A little bit of pain in my ankles after I do a lot of walking like that. I did it the week before, and I was feeling it the next day. This week, not so bad. And
that'll get better. This is new for you, and let's face it, you're still carrying a little extra weight around, and that's hard on the joints.
A little.
Well, I mean, it's not to be not considered. It's something you have to consider. They always say that you have a lot of extra muscle that you develop just to carry all that weight around, but it doesn't make it any less hard on the joints. And
Yeah, I think my legs are looking a little. The inflammation is definitely subsided. I mean, right now it's the best probably I've seen it yet. And from doing the walk, it looks like I have a little more definition in my lower legs, my calves. So
you
hopefully, I'm
can't.
putting on the muscle.
Well, you're putting on the muscle. You probably had so much of that muscle anyway. You're reducing the amount of fat, and of course,
Right.
that always shows the muscle definition. But you can't. Well, I can't tell you what you can't do. I'll tell you that a major source of people getting disappointed and falling off of these things is impatience and not able to accept the reality of that everything you're doing, except the exercise, but everything you're doing, your body, from a standpoint of survival, is going to fight you tooth and nail. You're going to have stalls. And you're going to be elated that you lost a pound last night, which is meaningless because it could have been water.
Right.
You'll put it back on. You
Right.
can't do that. You have to say to yourself, where was I 3 months ago? Where am I now? And just like investing in the market, you can't play it every day up and down. You end up at best breaking even, most often losing, because it's all emotional based stuff. Investing is do something, give it adequate time to pay off, and don't let the little roller coaster ride with you fighting your body's natural survival instinct to store fat. I mean, that's what we want to do. And that, I think,
Right.
is the biggest reason people fail. Maybe neck and neck with being an addict and not being able to overcome the subconscious that wants you to eat that crap no matter what you think, no matter how much you promise yourself you're not going to. It
Right.
ain't easy.
So my low today, I weighed in 325.8.
0.8. You lose the decimal point already. Lose the decimal. Round off to the nearest 10 pounds. You'd be much happier.
I want to be able to say 325 and not 326.
I know. It's these milestone things, Gary. But that's what you got. If you can accept the minor little disappointments, it's much easier to not have to say, I gained 0.3 of a pound last night. That'll make you feel bad. It's easier to say, well, I hit the 325. My next goal is 300, and I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to keep working the program. And I think is it.
That will be a big celebration point for me. 300.
How tall are you? How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
You're 5'8". Okay, so you should be weighing about 140 pounds.
Right.
Because I weigh 147 pounds now, and I'm 5'10". Now, I never got up to the kind of weight that you're carrying. I don't know why. My physiology may be different. Maybe I had less tolerance for it. I got so disgusted with myself every time I got over 200 pounds. But these days, so many of us, if we could get to 200 pounds, we'd say, holy cow, I've never been this skinny since I was in junior high school. Maybe that's, I didn't focus on weight as much as everybody else, and maybe that helped me succeed. I didn't have I'm living with a house full of people that eat shit in front of me all day, and maybe that's what helped me succeed. Maybe I am a little stronger willed. I know I'm a raging carb addict. I mean, that much I know. But I know I've always wanted to be healthy all my life and paid a hell of a price for it. And I probably am still paying the price for the damage that I've done. It's hard for me to encourage somebody like you because I can't. I've not had your journey, and I don't have to face some of the things that.
Well, just the fact that you started at the age that you did started was eye-opening to me. You know, here I am in my mid-50s, and I'm thinking, like, you know, and I'm hitting 400 pounds. You know, you're starting to look like, geez, you know, how did it come to
Yeah.
this? And, you know, it's too late now. You're an
No,
old
it's
guy,
not.
you can hardly move, and
It's not too late, Gary. You're doing great. You're just getting started. And that's
right.
why at the age of 76, when most that was the average age of the human male in this country, 76.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Mitch. When I saw your story at that age, I'm like, I'm not even near
Well, that's great.
that.
That's great because
And so that really did play a role into like taking it seriously and getting started with it.
well,
Like,
that means a
wow,
lot to me, and that's was my thought. One of the earlier videos that I put out. It's never too late, you know, and I'm not telling you to do what I say. I'm telling you to look at what I did as an example, and that's all I can do.
right.
Is put myself out as an example, and I really appreciate. And I also appreciate Nikki W. bought me 5 coffees this morning. Thank you, Nikki. So sweet. Thank you so much.
Good
Question
job,
for
Nikki.
you. Question for you from Smoothie. That's John. Gary, how long have you been doing carnivore? He says.
I started around my birthday, October 7th. So what am I, like 10 months now or so?
Well, and how
Roughly.
often have you had a challenging moment where you fell off the wagon and had to climb back on?
Um, uh, I mean, you know, you say, what's the definition of carnivore? They say 70% from meat and all that. And I'm like, well, that's easy, but I mean, yeah, I do have cheat. I have cheat bites mostly
Well, as
because I
long as
do
it
live
doesn't lead to binging, you're all right. That's the thing.
right,
A guy like me, if I'm not pure 100% strict, don't eat carbs, I can't do it.
right.
I'm too weak. I don't have that much control over
Like,
my subconscious, and I'm not
like
ashamed
for
of that.
instance, um, you know, I I, I cooked a dish for my wife that she hadn't had in a long time, and it's this viral chicken cobbler recipe, which is uses the Red Lobster biscuit mix and cans of cream of chicken soup and whatnot. It's like the ultimate chicken pot pie, right? And so I made it for her, and you know, the first day I had it, I had 4 or 5 bites, but then I felt guilty, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna eat a bunch of hamburger, some eggs, and like really like make sure that those 4 or 5 bites didn't come anywhere close to the 30%. So yeah, I mean, and it's been in the fridge now for a week because my wife eats like a bird, and it's like a whole casserole dish, 9x7, right? And so it's there, it's tempting me, whatever. And like so since then, over the course of this week, I probably had what amounted to be 2 small bowls worth.
Well, it's not bad as long as you're not binging and just ditch the diet, and that usually happens with an attitude like, "Oh, I'm
Right,
too weak. I can't do this. It doesn't work for me." It's addiction. It's all addiction. Maybe
right.
you're
I
lucky that you can control it a little bit.
I try to, you say experiment with your body, see what your body likes and whatnot. And so I try to pay attention when I do have that stuff. What negative effects am I feeling from it? Is the weight all of a sudden going up unusually? Are my pains coming back? Is my energy level down or whatever? And so for the most part, no, that hasn't happened. With the exception of, I can't remember what it was recently, but I had something that probably had some bad ingredients in it and whatnot. I didn't eat a lot of it, whatever it was. I can't remember, but I did have joint pain that night. Like, it seemed like, I heard people talk about that. It's like, wow, you just have like one meal or just a little bit of something and immediately feel that negative effect. And so that's actually,
it does happen if I eat anything that's inflammatory. And that's almost everything except meat.
right.
I've had a bad back, bad knees, all that stuff all my life. I'll get up in the morning and it'll take me a while to get used to standing up because of the pain in my lower back. So I can't do that. But I tell you what, and I you notice I don't tell people what to do. I might give suggestions.
We're all adults, right?
And I don't judge anybody because I understand what it's like to be helpless because I am, okay, against these things. And it's plagued me all my life. I can't eat a cup of blueberries. It turns into a 3-pound bag. I can't eat a handful of almonds. It ends up enough almonds that I would poison myself. I'm so addicted to carbs that I had to start looking at it from a different angle, okay? I had to start being more intellectual and less emotionally driven by what my subconscious was chemically pushing me towards cravings by manipulating things that push animals to eat, like hunger, the feeling of hunger. Which I don't get anymore, ever. I forgot to eat yesterday. I forgot to eat, and I ended up, because I'm filming this air fryer review, I had one thing left to cook, and that was the finale of it, a 1.25-inch thick ribeye from frozen. That's what that to me is the ultimate reason to have an air fryer. And I filmed it, and at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, not having eaten since about 3 o'clock the day before, I decided, well, I cooked it, I better eat it. And then I said, well, why don't you just fast today, Mitch? And I said, well, yeah, I could. I'm not hungry, but I'm going to eat the steak. I cook it. It costs $20 probably, so let me... But the thing that amazed me was the hunger where my body wasn't pushing me to eat that, because I had only been about 26 hours or so since I had eaten last. Now, I've gotten in the habit of being able to stop myself anytime I get the desire, because you have to admit this to yourself. And I see Rick is sitting in the studio. I'm going to bring him in, but I'm going to keep talking and finish this thought. So, hi, Rick. How are you?
Hey, Rick.
What? No, audio is bad, so I'll let you work on that for a second. Anybody else hear Rick? Say something, Rick. No.
Quick.
That not working. Not working. Technology strikes again. So, Gary, what I'm getting at is you told me about, and you're kind of feeling a little ashamed to admit it, that you ate this and that and the other, and you made it for your wife, and you ate a little bit, and you got joint pain from it. The thing to think about is not, and I mean, this is the advice I would give anybody. But of course, everybody has to live with what they do and what they want. My advice is to try to analyze.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What the hell? Why did I even feel I needed to eat that shit in the first place? I know it's shit. I know I'm going to hurt. I know. Why the hell do I need to couch it as an experiment? Well, I might be able to eat this. Let me just see if it hurts me. I know better. I know that shit is killing me. I know that shit is why I weigh 400 pounds. I know it. What am I, stupid? Wake up, Mitch, I would say to myself. Don't let your subconscious be sneaky like that, because that's what they do to you. That's the rationalization, the lame excuses, I say, that pop into our head. Well, I'll eat this one more time. This will be the last time, I promise. And it just keeps happening.
Lay it on me, Mitch. That's what I'm here for.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you what you're doing wrong. I'm saying that the only way I'm able to overcome those cravings and urges is by recognizing.
But no matter what, I can't hear it enough.
Yeah, stand up to that stupid subconscious and say, nah, I'm not falling for that this time. If I feel I got to eat something, you don't think I'm going to follow, listen to your lame excuse why it's okay for me to eat this shit that's going to make me sick and put on weight. I'm going to eat a bunch of meat and bacon. And that's why I tell people, whenever you get any desire, and it won't be long before you'll find out, unless there's social pressures and you got a grandmother saying, come on, one cookie won't hurt you. What is wrong with you? What's the matter? You don't like my cookies anymore? And you feel, oh, fuck. Okay, Grandma, I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'll eat the cookie. And that leads to 2 cookies and 5 cookies, and bang. They don't realize, people don't realize, they're trying to be nice. They're living by a different set of rules than we are.
Well, a lot of times I take these bites, taste of something that I used to like, whatever, but it's also just a reminder, like, how not great it is. It's more in your head that you want it more than the joy of having it. You know what I mean?
It could be okay. It could be dangerous. A cheat bite leads to a cheat meal, which leads to a binge. And you ain't got to smoke a cigar in front of me this morning. I can't smoke a cigar this morning. I'm in the house. So Rick, anyway, Gary.
Yeah.
That's a lecture from your old Uncle Mitch. And you can look at me like a father. I've got a 55-year-old son. Okay, so you can consider me like a father, because I'm certainly old enough to be your father. You too, Rick. I could be your father too.
That's right.
20 years older than you.
Yeah. 21. I'm 57.
Speaking of bad influences, Dad.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a bad influence, which is a funny thing. I got this comment from the guy yesterday. I immediately banned him from the channel after I read it. I wasn't going to debate with him, but he started telling me about, I used to smoke cigars and I got arteriosclerosis and I had a heart attack and all that. So I had to unsubscribe from you and stop watching your channel because you're a hypocrite. You talk about health. And, this guy went on and on and on and on. I read that. I said, and I'll say this in the most socially acceptable way, F you, and banned him from the channel. And I said to myself, amazing. People are amazing. I said, number one, you were probably a cigarette smoker for 40 years. You probably smoked 4 packs a day. You probably weighed 350 pounds. You probably ate shit all your life. And the one thing you're going to blame your heart attack on is an occasional cigar that you puffed on? Yeah, you believe that if you want to. And if you believe that, I got a bridge up in Brooklyn for sale, which you could have today at the low price. People believe what they want to believe. And in this case, here's a person who just needs an excuse to show how much more superior he is than you. And on the way out, take every shot they can to hurt your feelings. I will have nothing to do with people like that. I don't want them in my life, in my sphere, watching my videos. And if I could somehow block my videos from his YouTube feed, I would do that. I don't need you, my friend. You don't need me. It happens to me every day. No matter what video I put out, no matter what subject, I get 3 or 4 of those people. I used to feel bad about hiding them. I don't want their comments. I don't want to be insulted. Those are the things, Rick, that make you want to just give up YouTube and say, why do I bother? Why do I bother?
I agree. I don't get those comments, thankfully.
Well, you wait. Sit down and smoke a cigar. Oh, smoke a cigar, drink coffee, do all the things that there's, you're as pure as the driven snow, my friend.
Well, that's because I don't like those things. I don't like cigars and I don't like coffee, but I got no problem with other people drinking coffee and smoking cigars. Go ahead and do it.
And I can find just as many people who say coffee is a net plus as a net negative, and little stuff in small quantities like coffee. I wouldn't drink 10 cups of coffee, 20 cups of coffee a day either. But
No.
I know that since I went back on the coffee, people say, there's the old Mitch that we love.
My mother without coffee was less healthy than she was with coffee. Coffee was a big deal for her.
Well, it's a stimulant, and I think it's okay. Maybe it has a downside, but everything has a downside. I heard yesterday, which is something that I hear all the time. Some celebrity somewhere just died. Who was it? Of lung cancer. Who was it that died? My age, 78 years old. It was a male. I forget. But he died of lung cancer. And they said he never smoked.
Hmm.
How many times have you heard that? Margaret got lung cancer. She never smoked. Well, did you ever breathe? For God's sakes. You ever get out there stuck in traffic? There's many, many things. Do you eat a diet of 99% sugar, which is very pro-cancer? What else did you do that might have allowed a cancer to grow in you? That had nothing to do with smoking a cigarette. Do you inhale?
About barbecue?
Barbecue. Do you spray insect repellent all over your body? Maybe you have a hobby where you spray paint furniture out of a spray can, and you're breathing all the toluenes and everything in. And you wonder why you get cystic fibrosis, like my best friend in the world got and killed him. Blame it on the one thing that the propaganda tells you should blame it on so that you can be okay and politically correct and not do all those bad things. Don't blame it on the food, for God's sakes. Or don't blame the pushers of the poisons that we're eating. Blame it on what makes you feel good to blame it on. It makes you, my friend, feel superior and holier than the rest of us. And that's humanity. That's the attitude so many people have. So every time I hear something like that, it brings it out. I got another coffee here. I don't want to miss saying thank you to these people. Who was it that... Martin Nowinski bought me a coffee. Martin, thank you so much. Did Nikki leave you a message? Said, keep up the great work, Mitch. Nikki did for her coffee. And Martin said, your shrimp with scrambled eggs has been a welcome addition to my diet. Wow, I love that. I have it at least once a week now. And the neat thing about those frozen shrimp that I get from Sam's, they don't have a lot of fat in them. That's why I saute them in butter. But you don't have to defrost them with frozen shrimp. You just take a bowl and put the shrimp in it, run tap water over it. Takes minutes. In minutes. Move around, spill out the water, fill it fresh. Within 2-3 minutes, you got fully defrosted shrimp, and they're washed off nicely. And you can whip up one of those scrambled eggs with the shrimp. You can whip it up in 5 minutes. And there's the cool thing about it. Here's the cool thing about it that I like. Every time you cook a burger or something in a frying pan, you got all the rendered fat. You pour it out, or you save it, or you pour it over your burger. But when you cook eggs, none of the fat in the egg ever leaves the egg, even when you cook it. If you cook a dry egg with no butter or anything in a Teflon pan, the pan would come out completely fat-free. When you add fat to eggs, like if you cook them in bacon grease or you cook them in butter, the eggs soak that up too. The eggs are a fat magnet. So when you make this shrimp dish like I do, I put about an inch big pat of butter in the pan. I throw the shrimp in there, just doesn't take minutes to get them done. And then I pour the eggs in and scramble them up. When I pour that out of that stone ceramic pan, the pan is clean. You couldn't tell whether I'd already washed it or not. And I don't wash frying pans like that with soap and water. Any of the fats that I'm eating don't oxidize. They don't spoil. They could sit out at room temperature for months. So why not just wipe it out with a paper towel, and why not just leave that layer of fat in there as a head start for the next time you cook? It's a seasoning. It preserves whatever the pan. And if it's a cast iron or carbon steel pan, it'll keep it from rusting. Rick shaking his head. You know this, don't you, Rick?
Of course. All you got to do is look at my kitchen, look at my really old pots and pans, and I don't use soap on them. And when I get particles in them, I fill them with water, and then I let the particles work loose. I push them off, throw it back on the stove, heat it up, and it all dries out, and that's it. And I don't think I've ever washed. In fact, the only time I washed that one pan is when I got it like 30-something years ago when I picked it out of the dump.
Yeah, so this is a nice thing about eggs, which I really like. There are very few other foods that I cook in fat that actually put the fat in what you eat. And I think it's one of the reasons why eggs are so healthy. And I don't know if you eat a lot of eggs, Rick, but I know a lot of carnivores don't eat eggs, and I think eggs are very important as beef. That's why the big four that Ken Berry came up with, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, all four of them are looked down upon by the dietary experts. And I can't eat eggs, too much cholesterol. Butter, I should be eating margarine. What are you crazy? You're going to clog your arteries.
For decades,
Beef.
I ate a dozen eggs a day.
There you go. Beef causes cancer. Everybody knows that. And bacon, well,
Black cat.
what's that?
I saw the black cat.
Oh, your cat. Okay. I wonder if my it is. It's still working. I have, Rick, you'll like this. In fact, you're techie guy. I'll tell you how I did it. This right here is a program called IV Cam. IVCAM. Okay? You can get it. It's free. You download it on a cell phone. You run on your PC the IV Cam client. Okay? And I got that running on my computer in that little window right above my head. See it? And it shows me the picture. Then I go into OBS and just capture it as a video source. So what I have now is a push button on my, let's see, turn this around to get me. I have a push button on my, let me get back to the IV Cam. I have a push button on my Elgato, or you could do it with OBS. And I switched to IV Cam, and it's a portable camera. I can bring into the broadcast anything. And I know I was thinking about you when I did this, because you constantly are grabbing your camera, and when you want to show somebody something and then set it back up, you don't need to. You can just take an old cell phone if you got one, and it'll run it if it's got a decent camera. In fact, it's probably one of the better cameras I've got. The cameras in these phones, especially this S25, it's a 200 megapixel camera, for God's sakes, So there I am sitting here in front of my green screen, see, with my meat T-shirt on, because I'm going to finish up my video, and I want to be dressed up like this. And I can, if I want to show Walter, I can take this camera, and I had it setting up on top of a Kleenex box. Aimed at Walter over here. It's a great little tool, and I just decided today, why don't I use this thing? I've had it for a long time. I used to use it when I was doing the drone building live streams when I wanted to show soldering, because these cameras are terrific for close-ups. Look at, they're almost macro cameras, and
Is it communicate by Wi-Fi or Bluetooth?
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Wi-Fi. It's called IV cam. Yeah,
I
CAM.
have to turn the Wi-Fi on. I usually have it off.
Yeah, well, it works on Wi-Fi, but not Bluetooth. And it's really cool. I mean, I could take, of course, because it's Wi-Fi, if I had a wireless mic and headphone on, I could do a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
With all around my house. We could go for a walk. Let's go outside and smoke a cigar, and away we go,
Yeah.
At any rate, enough of that. But that, I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
I get ideas from you. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I've been adjusting my live stream. I get inspired by your channel.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Rick. I root for you. I just think you're there's nothing you say I disagree with. Not a single word comes, or action that you do. You are probably the example of a realistic carnivore among all of them, and been doing it longer than all of us, by accidentally almost, I guess.
Yeah, well, when you're trying to get a heart attack and you don't care about the side effects, you go ahead and you load up with the fat, the eggs, the meat, and everything. And that's what happens.
Yeah, who knew that our ancestors were doing it right? All this time we go they were stupid. Target Prime Rib Thomas says, you are an inspiration. You talking to me, or are you talking to Rick, or both of us, or none of the above?
Got to be talking about Mitch, not me.
Oh, I don't know, Rick. You're doing great. You're doing great. Sam Sapphire asked the question here. I still think that sounds like a private eye name, doesn't it? If you're going to hire a private eye, would it be somebody named Sam Sapphire? We determined it was a man yesterday. I said that could be a woman for all we know, but Sam Sapphire. Question, Mitch. I was wondering if cinnamon dusted or pork rinds with avocado mayo is a good chip alternative. I can stop my sugar craving from brown sugar bites, but miss tortilla chips. Well, Rick shaking his head no. I'm not that judgmental, but I'm saying that what's the real problem here, Sam? What's the real problem? This is what I was talking to Gary about. Why are you having sugar cravings in the first place? I can't stop my sugar craving from brown buttermilk. No, you'll never stop your sugar craving until you figure out a way to stop feeding it. Because feeding a craving perpetuates a craving. So I've faced this very same thing all my life. I faced it a couple of months ago when I got home from the hospital, and Kiltsy and Nelson brought me an ice cream machine, and with the idea that, well, you can eat ice cream, it's carnivore, as long as you don't make it sweet, as long as you, well, why would I want to eat ice cream if it's not sweet? That's the craving I have for the mouthfeel of ice cream, for the creaminess of ice cream, for the sweetness of ice cream. Even if it's not flavored, but vanilla flavoring, you put a little of that in there. So I ended up, my cravings got the best of me. Why? Because the hospital had re-addicted me to carbs. In spite of my protesting, there was nothing I could do about it. They brought the food, and the food was adulterated crap. Even if I thought I was doing carnivore, what they were bringing me, I'm sorry. I got re-addicted to ice cream. I got to the point where I was finding excuses to go in my wheelchair down the hall to the refrigerator on the floor, figure out how to open the top of it, reach in there, grab all these little 4-ounce cups of ice cream, 2 or 3 at a time, and end up eating 5 cups of that stuff a day. And
I don't have any sugar cravings, which is a good thing.
Wow, you're lucky.
I have carb cravings, which would be mostly bread, pasta, related,
that
like
too.
Italian food.
I had that too. Worse than the sugar cravings. It was the
Right.
complex carb craving. I would go home, drive home to my office, past like one of these Einstein bagels, real New York bagels, water bagels, and I would buy, and these things were heavy. They were meaty and chewy and real bagels. I'd buy
Right.
to take home. I'd buy a half a dozen of them in a bag. They weren't cheap either. And I'd eat them all before I get home.
My favorite candy used to be Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh,
if you put
God.
a peanut butter cup in front of me and a fresh everything bagel,
Yeah.
I'd reach for that bagel before the peanut butter cup.
Me too. So that's what happened. And you're addicted to these foods. And they re-addicted me. And I thought, well, at least I really like the ice cream. I'm going to try this. It was a slippery slope for me. I got to the point after a week of it where I was eating 3 pints of that shit a day. Gaining weight, felt like shit. My back was aching. I was putting allulose in it, which is supposed to be okay. I finally said, "No, Mitch, you're falling for the same stuff you keep warning other people about." And that just reinforces my belief that we don't have control. The concept of willpower, once your physiology tells you it thinks it needs something, it turns our brains off. And I know the reasons why. It shuts off all logical thinking, suggests a very lame excuse. And if people don't believe me, I say, how often have you promised yourself this was the last time? I will start again on Monday. And I titled my first video as a carnivore on YouTube, I'll start the diet again on Monday. That was the title of the video because that was the one thing that I had discovered, the mechanism of why we get to that point that enabled me to actually succeed long term until the hospital got their hands on me and tried to fix me because they were convinced that the way I was eating is the reason why I was in their hospital. And I wasn't taking enough drugs. And I wasn't eating enough sugar, and I eating too much meat, too much fat, and how else do you explain your stroke? Well, I explained it to them, and I fought them tooth and nail, but I had to eat, and I had to eat the food that they brought me. I wasn't about to do a 4-week fast while I was trying to recover from a stroke, sorry. So I can be re-addicted in a minute, and I know the reason why, and the one thing you got to look at, Sam, I think, if I can help you at all, forget about figuring out a way to satisfy your cravings, which is what this is, because you say you miss it. You miss it because you're addicted to it. If you don't cure the addiction or get it under control, you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to find the, quote, guilt-free thing that you can eat. And what you're addicted to is not just the food, but the sweet taste, the texture, the crunch, the habit of wanting to eat something between meals. So for me, I can't tell you how to do it, but I can give you this advice. For me, the most important rule that I made for myself, which I've never deviated from, not until I got the ice cream habit back, was snacking. No snacking ever. No snacking. If you're going to eat anything, if I eat pork rinds, for example, it's not because I need a crunchy snack. It's because I'm going to have them as a side dish, an accompaniment to my meal. But it's still a meal. And I'll eat until I'm satisfied, and then I won't eat for at least 3 or 4 hours if I'm going to have a second meal. And that's how I live. After I eat my second meal, I never eat a thing. Maybe you should take up cigar smoking, Sam. That keeps your mouth busy, right, Gary? I'll admit it. Puffing on a cigar, the thought of actually putting food in my mouth never crosses my mind. Because I got the cigar, suck your thumb. Whatever it takes. Chew on a toothpick.
Didn't they used to call smoking the adult pacifier?
It is. And it's hooked most of us, but I still contend, and I still keep saying that. How do you explain? You know, that's the greatest question to ask anybody when they're telling you how it is, and you know it isn't. You say, well, if all that's true, how do you explain this? And the this that I always throw at them when I hear about cigar smoking and eating a lot of meat and bacon and all the stuff that they say is so bad for us, I say, how do you explain this? In the 1950s and 60s, everybody smoked. Your doctor smoked. Your school teacher smoked. The kids in junior high school and elementary school smoked. Your parents smoked. Your grandparents smoked. 60, 70% of the people in this country were smoking. Where was the heart disease? Where was the cancer? Well, they got lung cancer. It was an insignificant cause of death back in those days where everybody smoked. So we were smart. We demonized and outlawed smoking because we were going to cure everybody. The food companies bought the tobacco companies, put their addiction specialists to work and said, well, we like this better. Not only can we addict people to the food, but we can addict people, children. We can now, well, that's what we got in trouble with tobacco. We had Joe Camel. We were trying to sell kids cigarettes. That's a no-no. But selling them breakfast cereals and candy and treats, that's good. Hey, Halloween. You know, and the sugar companies took over. Were taken over by the tobacco companies, and they're owned by them now. R.J. Reynolds Company owns Nestle, Pepsi. There's so many different companies. I saw a chart once. It's like a huge big chart, and then all the arrows point all the way to these couple of major tobacco conglomerates who got smart. They're in the addictive business, and they addicted us to these foods. People stopped smoking. They thought they were doing something good for their health. They kept pushing it. Stop smoking, stop smoking. And they switched their addiction over to sugar. And heart disease is out of control. And diabetes is out of control. Tell me again, how do you explain that when everybody smoked, we were all healthier than we are today when nobody smoked? And can you really blame it on the smoking? I think, and I give this advice, if you're pushing 80 years old and you want to start smoking a cigar, puff it on a cigar because it might help you. It might have that pacifier effect. It might help you from eating so much. What are you saving it for? If those cigars were that bad for you, it would take 50 years for them to kill you. So what are you saving it for? Do what you enjoy. Anything you could do to keep you. Now, if I gave that advice out, they would demonize me and vilify me. This guy's telling people they should smoke. Be logical, common sense, people. I mean, am I wrong? Maybe. I've been smoking cigars for 55 years.
None of the smoke goes into my lungs.
Well, you do breathe in a little bit of secondhand smoke.
Taste it in the mouth.
That pales in comparison to the stuff you inhale every day from our industrial society, the car fumes,
just
the chemicals.
A secondhand regular smoker is worse.
Another problem is you don't know who the person was that's yelling at you or giving you advice, because most cigar smokers today used to smoke cigarettes. Most people don't start out in elementary school bathrooms smoking big $10 cigars. They switch from cigarettes to cigars, and most of them still inhale because they've got the cigarette habit. So a lot of cigar smokers, if I inhale even a puff, I start gagging. I cough up a lung. I cannot inhale. I'm maybe one of a rare breed of cigar smokers that didn't start by smoking cigarettes, and I'm lucky in that respect. So, no, if you inhale cigars, you're going to get a ton of nicotine just like everything else. But who knows? We're all individuals. You don't inhale, do you, Gary? You just puff.
Just puff.
Yeah,
if I inhale, I'll start coughing.
All right, you too. But that's why cigars are enjoyable and relaxing. You're not using them as a drug delivery system, trying to suck down as much of that drug as you can. They're relaxing. It's just something to do, and you get the aroma of a good cigar as a very pleasant smell to the person that's smoking. And yeah, you're going to inhale a little bit of.
I don't think I've smoked more than 25 cigars in my whole life.
Well, you're not even a cigar smoker. I smoked that many cigars.
I just bought a box a couple months ago because of you.
Oh,
and it was a variety pack. It was a variety pack of like 20 cigars or 10 or 20, whatever. And so far I've smoked, I guess, maybe 7.
It's relaxing,
already.
Isn't it? It's relaxing, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like going out on my lunch break.
You can't be eating while you're smoking a cigar. When you're sitting there relaxing, you're not going to be stuffing your face full of poison.
Right.
So in that respect, it's
sitting out in the sun and excuse to get outside, sit in the sun.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. I mean, the taste actually, it's not bad. I mean,
no, you become a connoisseur. I had a friend that, you know the word connoisseur. You know that word, that French word, connoisseur. Well,
yeah.
I had a friend tell me once, Mitch, you are some kind of sewer. He said, you're some kind of sewer. I said, thank you. That was my friend Michael. Michael had many expressions like that. Oh, wow.
Love the cats.
Oops. I think I'm going to take a sip of my electrolyte. Well, we got 3 people in here today. It's been fun. Having a good time. We're after 9:30 already. Wow. Big thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Gary, it's been a pleasure, man. I think we had a good conversation. Robbie Autry says, Mitch, you need to start pushing cigars with your brand on them. No, they put me in jail for that. Hi, Peter. Peter's here saying hi to everybody in Golf Addict. Spanky, how you doing?
Spanky.
Look here and say hi to some of these people. Jem is here. Good morning, Jem. Smoothie. Granny DD. Some cigars smell so lovely. Like I used to always get such a kick out of that. There's so many old men today that stopped smoking cigars because of their doctor's advice. The doctor says, doctor told my grandfather, who lived to be 102, by the way. My grandfather, when he was like in his 40s or 50s, he was always a cigar smoker. And his doctor said, Harry, if you don't quit smoking those cigars, you will not live another 10 years. Well, my grandfather didn't quit, kept smoking his cigars. And he got to be 78 years old when I was a kid. And he would tell the story to everybody when they said anything about his cigar. Harry, they'd say, don't you think those cigars are bad for you? And he would say, and this was the same story, and I would know it was coming, but I'd laugh anyway. He would say, funny you should say that. 40 years ago, my doctor told me that if I didn't quit smoking cigars, I wouldn't live to age 50. And the answer always came back, what does your doctor think now? My grandfather says, how do I know? He died 25 years ago. I mean, and that's the truth. You can't make that up. That was a true story. And I know it was coming. And I start laughing. I couldn't keep it in. But it was true. And he lived to be 102 years old and died of nothing related to cigar smoking whatsoever. And the way he would deliver that was in true, like, George Burns style. It was like a real comedian, deadpan as hell.
Another cigar smoker.
Yeah. So that was funny.
Hey, when I was 28, my doctor told me I wouldn't live past my 50s. I'd have a heart attack by 55.
Yeah, You'll be able to tell that same story when you get to be 90. You say, my doctor told me 50 years ago that what's wrong with what happened to your I don't know. He died 40 years ago. Probably true. Probably too because he ate poisonous food. There's no reality in anything you hear anymore. No reality. No reality.
I love the cats.
Thomas Starry Rhyme Rib says, I smoke pipes. I got a hell of a pipe collection, but I stopped smoking them 50-something years ago because they're hard on the teeth. You always clamp them in your mouth, and the weight of the pipe levers up against your back teeth. And you're always fooling with them. And every piece of clothing you own, it looks like Swiss cheese. Because they're always spouting embers out the top. You know, you always clean them, and they land on your clothes and it'll burn a little hole in them, especially back in the polyester days, if you remember those days when we all wore plastic clothing. Got a big discussion going here. This is great. Jackie, Realtors here. Terry Sue, how you doing? Meathead Kurt, how are you today? Aunt B is here.
Everybody
Hi,
in
Aunt
the
B.
chat.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the chat today, so I'm not ignoring anybody.
I'm trying not to, but I want to catch up here and say hi to some people. Juan Manguel's here. Juan in Chile, how you doing? Got to go, he says. Sorry, I missed you. But I'm glad you were here. Sandy Blythe is here. I'm back up to where I was reading a minute ago. Bill Cook, Jemmett.
Thanks.
Sam qualified his question. I worded it so you thought I have sugar cravings from brown bites, but I don't have sugar cravings because I can have brown. But no, the brown butter bites are feeding your cravings. Sam, I don't want to be a hard ass here, and I may be wrong. But like everybody else on the planet, you think you have self-control. Ask yourself, why do I need brown? And you'll make an excuse. Well, Sam, according to all the carnivore authorities, you need to get extra fat. So we'll make it okay for you to eat those sweet things that are all caramelized from the Maillard reaction, which most people will tell you is not good for you, instead of just eating less cooked fat, raw butter, and other ways, eggs, better ways to get your fat. That's what it does to us. It gives us rationalizations so that we will continue to feed our addictions. I can't blame anybody because our subconscious minds play with our emotions, our instincts to get what they want. And just like every animal in the world reacts to their instinctual clues, we're no different. And they shut off our rational thinking. And the way you know that your rational thinking had been shut off while you were doing it is how you feel afterward when you get your rational thinking turned back over to you. The first thing you think is, what was I thinking? You suppose Bill Clinton, after his little episode with Monica Lewinsky in the White House, and all the animal urges were gone, and he got caught, if he didn't question his own judgment and say, what was I thinking? How am I going to spin this out? That is the problem with us being humans and human animals, is our animal brain is still in charge. It controls everything. You don't think it controls everything? Stop your heart from beating. Come on, let me see if you can do that. Can you stop your heart beating? Can you stop synthesizing ATP in every one of your cells in your body? Can you stop that? Are you in control? How about breathing? Try to stop breathing. You can't. You can't kill yourself by holding your breath. You have no control. Your heartbeat. Slow your heartbeat down. Now, some monks claim to be able to do that by meditation, slow it way down, but we're not in control of our physiology. It's on autopilot. An autopilot as the same way that every animal is running on autopilot, by instincts. Sometimes I think that developing a layer of sentience and consciousness has been our biggest downfall. Because lets us make rules which we think we need to live by. So I don't know you, Sam. I don't know what it is, but I know that I've been in similar situations, and as recently as with that ice cream, and I still fought tooth and nail to find some logical reason why I could still have my ice cream and be a carnivore with my addiction. And if you're not an addict, and you feel the need to sprinkle cinnamon on it, feel free. Feel free. I'm not telling you not to. If you're achieving all your goals, you're losing the weight that you are, and all your illnesses and blood pressures where you want it to be, you're feeling good, you got a lot of energy, you're losing, and you're doing that, I envy you. Enjoy it if it brings you enjoyment. But if it becomes a problem, you got to face it, I guess. Enough of that. That's called tough love, I guess, but doesn't mean it's right, because I don't know every aspect. And even if I did know every aspect about you, I still wouldn't know if that was good advice for you or not. So everybody's talking away. It's going to be 9:45. Time for me. I got to go out. I got to finish editing and filming the final end of my air fryer review, which has been never ending, so I can release it and get on to other things again.
I'm gonna have a T-bone steak, not a T-bone, a ribeye steak.
Boy, yeah, boy. I'm gonna
eat that fatty meat.
I've been eating a lot more beef, and I'm gonna have myself bacon and eggs for my first meal today. I haven't. That it's not cooked in the air fryer, but I've been cooking everything that stands still long enough for me to grab it, to do this air fryer thing. I've cooked the hell out of things, and I'm going to go back and have some bacon and eggs today. I think I may have some frozen hamburger patties for a second meal if I feel like I need one. Thomas, Jem, Peter, you can't have Rick, Sean Baker. I don't know what you guys talking. Because Smoothie says, question, please do a video showing this. Oh, it's going to be included in my review. This is an extensive review from a carnivore's viewpoint. I'm going to be proud of this, and it's going to make sense to a lot of carnivores. Hopefully, it won't piss off the manufacturer, because I didn't extol its virtues as a way to make pizza, because that's what they want you to do. In fact, they ask you to feature that in your review. They give you a whole list of suggestions. And that's why all these reviews look the same. All the same.
Heart attack pizza.
Pacemaker pizza.
Yeah. Why would I want to have
pizza, that's it.
Smell pizza? Why would I want to smell pizza, look at pizza, have pizza in my house? If I had
Smells
somebody,
like a burger.
If I had somebody, well, you can make a meat crust. That's not a pizza. I'm sorry, folks. Call it what you want. They call it a pizza. Mm-hmm. If you pick it up and you eat it with your hands, you're still going to start getting cravings for the real thing. You're smarter than that. You know the difference. You know that. Where's the bread?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for coming in today, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Mitch.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Glad you let us in here.
Of course. Anytime. And I think we covered some good ground, and hopefully I was on the right track with what I said. You guys are great. Gary, you're doing great, man. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Thanks, Mitch.
Don't you dare go anywhere. And
I'm in it for the long haul.
Okay, because I'm telling you, man, when you break 200 pounds, we're going to dedicate a whole show just to you. Have plenty of pictures, all right?
All right.
Might be 2 years from now. Don't be in too big a hurry. Let your body do it at its own rate. How long did it take you to put all the weight on? 40 years?
All I was going to say is in May of this year, I was stuck at the 350 plateau. So,
It happens. It happens.
Today I hit 325. So
there you go. Your body has to reset that set point many times. And it may go up a little bit if you've overdone it. That's a mistake people make dieting. They think by eating less and fewer calories, they're going to lose weight faster. It's exactly the opposite. Exactly opposite. I lost my weight on carnivore by stuffing myself till I didn't want to eat anymore.
The Rick way.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That works. That lets your subconscious know that you're living in a land of plenty. No need to worry about the hunt failing. The big animals are everywhere. No need to worry about starving to death. No need to scrounge for the crap and grub and berries and roots. You got cattle-like food in abundant supply. And how do I know this? My subconscious is, I know this because I'm eating like a pig. That's why. And that's what matters. That's what matters. And if you try to manipulate it or manage it or fool it, you just end up doing more harm than good. And your body starts getting the desire. Well, I guess we got a famine now. The food supply is getting smaller. Time to start being a gatherer again. It's time to go after that sugar-laden crap that we can live on because the real food evidently is there. Give yourself more than enough of the real food and do it long enough and you'll never, ever go back. And Rick is an example of that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Your body has never panicked because it thought the hunt failed.
No. And I've stayed skinny my whole life. I can't even break 200 pounds on the upside.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
195 and I'm 6'6".
That's why it's great you live in Florida because there's always an iguana around them.
That's
or a duck,
right.
Or a duck. But that's
parking lot chicken.
Yeah. Roadkill.
Roadkill.
I used to like that Roadkill Cafe. All right, guys, let me get out of here and go to work. I will see you guys in the morning. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you for the coffees this morning. And Gary, we love you, man. Rick, we love you too. You know that. And we'll see you soon. So I'll let you guys say goodbye.
Bye all.
Goodbye all. Goodbye, Mitch. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, you got it. You got it. I'm going to play some happy music. Well, a little quack for Rick while I'm on that bank and go over here and play a little happy music. Let everybody, 125 people. Great turnout for a Sunday. Hope you all had a good time. Hope we put out some useful information. Got a little rant thrown in there. All in all, worthwhile. Great effort. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Gary. Do this again next Sunday. Thursday night, we will have our private community. Those of you who aren't members of the private community and like this kind of format might consider joining. I know it's $3.99 a month, but come on now. We'd love to see you in there. Love to see you in there. Get on the panel with us. We can not have to worry about what we say on Thursday night, that's for sure. We can become a little more adult if we want to. Great group of people. You can see who they are. Their names are in green in the chat. So, everybody saying goodbye. Bacon Baby, Karen Travis, Dory Sue, Lori Weitzel. Thank you, Mitch, she says. You're welcome, Lori. Thank you for being here. Smoothie. Nice time. Thanks, Mitch. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. See you all tomorrow. I will see you here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 for Morning Coffee with Mitch. Tanya, thank you for coming. Thanks, Scotter. Going to an archery shoot. Oh, how cool. How cool. I'm going to a video shoot. Different kind of shooting. Aunt B's waving goodbye. Jemmett, thanks. Rick, Gary, and Mitch. Sandy Blythe, bye all. Have a great day. Lori, bye, friends. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming. I don't know who's coming up next, but Time to move the party to the next stop. I will see you tomorrow morning at 8:30. And until then, of course, take the rest of it's Sunday. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.